Alright, let's check if there's any updates on Highguard. Okay, we get it. Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Mokho, and if you don't know about me, I'm a dude who likes to talk about video games, the video game industry, and in general, with no bullshit, no sugarcoating whatsoever, and try to be as objective as possible, if I can. So I can't believe we're talking about the same topic almost 5 years now, since 2022 2023 stuff happened. A game was released, it wasn't good, it flopped, and now the developers and everyone and their mother is blaming the gamers instead of the game itself. It's an interesting phenomenon, to say the least, but I'm thinking that nobody's learning at this point from whatever gaming studios there is out there. So I got in front of me is an article written by the lead tech artist at Wildlife, well, former lead tech artist at Wildlife Entertainment, Josh Sobel, and we're gonna read this. We're gonna see what he has to say about the reason that Highguard failed and his emotional and, well, we'll see. So, apologies for the length. I've been waiting to say a lot of this for a while. The day leading to the Game Awards 2025 was amongst the most exciting of my life. After 2.5 years of passionately working on Highguard, we were ready to reveal it to the world. The future seemed bright. Everyone I knew who had any connection to the team or project had the same sentiments. Uh-oh. This is lightning in a bottle. I trust this team wholeheartedly. If there's one project nobody in industry is worried will fail, it's yours. This has mainstream written all over it. There's no way this will flop. I could play this game all day. If any of you guys have ever worked in a company ever in your life, you would know that this talk, these words that were used right now, were just a bunch of hot air being blown up their asses. It's so fake. It made me cringe. I can't believe this, man. The internal pre-reveal feedback. Even from unbiased sources, was quite positive. Well, of course it's gonna be positive. I'm gonna keep reading. And where it was negative, it was constructive and often actionable. People who played the game, including us, had a blast, and since we were an independent, self-published studio built with royalties in mind, many of us were hoping this could finally be the thing that broke the millennial financial curse. You were expecting a free-to-play game to break the millennial financial curse. Okay. But then the trailer came out and it was all downhill from there. Content creators love to point out the bias in folks who give positive previews after being flown out for an event, but ignore the fact that when their negative leaning content gets 10 times the engagement of the positive, they've got just as much incentive to lean into a disingenuous direction, whether consciously or not. The hate started immediately. In addition to dogpiling on the trailer, I personally came under fire due to my naivete on Twitter, which almost all of my now former coworkers had learned to avoid during their previous game launches. You are a tech artist. You are not a community manager. What are you doing on Twitter? What are the developers doing? Stop going to Twitter. Stop talking. Because when you talk, you say shit like this. I'm sorry, listen guys, I have to stop a little bit here. Whoever throws hate or death threats to developers, to the average Joe that's working in a company, that's not okay. You are a shitty ass person for doing so, and you should not be touching a keyboard or be on the internet. I've always had this stance and I always will. I never send hate to anyone. I never send death threats. It's just it's petty. It's very low and it's just unpleasant. So whoever does this, you don't deserve. You really stop. You don't deserve to be on the online at all. And Josh, listen, man. I really hope that you get another job very, very soon, and that hope your dream in video games is not completely crushed by this. And I do wish this guy the best for the future, but you gotta understand, man, when you're talking about content creators, and when your company had paid high profile streamers like Summit, like Shroud, like Tim the Tatman, and all the other people. I don't think Tim the Tatman had an ad, but whatever. When you pay these content creators to talk positively about your game and play it, to advertise it to 100,000 plus people, wouldn't that be qualified as a positive incentive and has a very much higher impact on any other engagement that's been negative engagement that's been processed? Because you're basically paying for your game to be advertised to millions of people at the same time. And let's not forget the millions of previews that have been positive, nothing but positive about this game, which we are all know that nobody played it before. I mean, I don't know, man. You can't just go and blame it on content creators while still using content creators to benefit your game. It doesn't work like that. You don't get the cake and eat it as well, man. Come on. After setting my Twitter account to private to protect my sanity, many content creators made videos and posts about me and my cowardice, amassing millions of views and inadvertently sending hundreds of angry gamers into my replies. They laughed at me for being proud of the game, told me to get out the McDonald's applications, probably Asmongold, and mocked me for listing having autism in my bio, which they seemed to think was evidence the game would be woke trash. All of this was emotionally taxing. Again, if you're doing that, you're a piece of shit. This guy doesn't deserve this, and it really is tacky, man. And it's just a lose-lose situation. They will take this example and throw him in their face like this guy did, and they will never learn to take accountability. There is much constructive criticism that can be and has been said about Highguard's trailer, marketing, and launch, but I don't think it's my place to commentate on that. So let me get this straight. It's not your place to commentate on the shortcoming of your own game and your own company, but it is your place to commentate on the engagement and the negative criticism that you got from content creators and gamers alike. I mean, bro, you have to take a little bit of accountability here. You can't just say, well, it's the content creator's fault, the gamer's fault, but the game, yeah, it's not my place to talk about that. You're not working at Wildlight Entertainment anymore. You can't say what you want to say about the game. No one will fault you here. I also don't think there's any way to know whether the launch would have fared better or worse without the massive spotlight that was thrown onto us in response to the Game Awards trailer placement, but we never got that chance. It definitely was... it definitely did have an impact on your game. It definitely did affect it very negatively, by the way, because the expectation was here, or maybe even higher, but the game was, it wasn't worth it. We were turned into a joke from minute one, largely due to false assumptions about $1 million ad placement, which even prominent journalists soon began to state as a fact. Within minutes, it was decided this game was dead on arrival, and creators now had free rage bait content for a month. Even one of our videos on social media got downvoted to hell. Comment sections were flooded with copy-paste meme phrases such as Concord 2 and Titanfall 3 died for this. At launch, we received over 14k review bombs from users within less than an hour of playtime. Many didn't even finish the required tutorial because they couldn't play the game, because it wasn't launching, because people couldn't even play the game at launch. And again, because you didn't focus on the technical aspects of the game. You put so much money and effort to high profile content creator instead of working on your own goddamn game and making sure the launch was smooth. Of course, listen, I'm pretty sure that most of these review bombs were bullshit, but let's not forget that many of them were legit and saying that my game was crashing, was not launching, and it has below 30 FPS. You have to take into consideration these kind of reviews, man. In discussion online about Highguard, Concord 2XCO, and such, it is often pointed out by gamers that devs likes to blame gamers for their failures, and that's silly. That's silly. Well, aren't you doing that right now? I mean, I've read through all of this, and you have yet to talk about how the game launched, or talk anything about the game itself, or taken any accountability regarding the game. You've blamed content creators, you blamed journalists, you blamed, well, other journalists, not the ones we know of, like PC Gamer and such, because those talk really good about you guys. You blame the review bombing. You haven't said anything about how your team performed, or how was your performance, or where your shortcoming was from. As if gamers have no power, but they do. A lot of it. I'm not saying our failure is purely the fault of gamer culture and that the game would have thrived without the negative discourse, but it absolutely played a role. But you are saying that. You're implying that, by the way. All products are at the whims of the consumers, and the consumers put absurd amount of effort into slandering Highguard, and it worked. Well, yeah, because the consumer did not like consuming your product, so yes, that's what they did. Why are you surprised there? Many of Wildlight's former devs will now be forced to assimilate back into the actual corporate industry many gamers accuse Wildlight of being part of. Now, every time someone thinks about leaving the golden handcuffs behind in favor of making a new multiplayer game the indie way, they'll say, but remember how gamers didn't even give Wildlight a chance. Soon, if this pattern continues, all that will be left are corporation, at least in multiplayer space, innovation is on life support. Okay, no, I have to stop here. I have to stop him right here. First of all, you're blaming that this kind of actions will stop indie gamers from making multiplayer games. Yet there's a lot of multiplayer games here that were made by indie games. And you're talking about innovation is online. Where was one part of your game that was innovative? Everything else was copy-paste from other games. Everything, not one other single thing was innovative about the game. Not the gameplay, not the gunplay, not the shooting, not the movement, not the skills, not the characters. Not even the characters, not the UI. Nothing was innovative in your game. And yet you're speaking of innovation. Mate, you're a tech artist. Stick to what you know. Don't talk about stuff you don't understand. I'm sorry, but this is a fact here. And I'm not gonna be one of these other toxic positive content creators that says, oh, but he tried his best. No, I'm pretty sure you tried your best. No, I'm pretty sure of that. But your best was subpar than the standard of actual good video games. And you don't get to blame the gamers that don't like indie game developers anymore, because we love indie game developers, because corporations like Bethesda, Ubisoft are going down the drain right now. Ubisoft stocks is €4 for fuck's sake. What are you talking about? That corporations are gonna be the big thing? No. Activision is down the toilet right now. Call of Duty had one of the worst release it ever had in a decade. And you're still talking about this shit. This is what shows me that you are very disconnected from the actual world of what's going on within the gaming industry. And you work in it. That's the problem. You are in it and you still don't know what's going on around you. And that is very telling about you personally, of what kind of person and how much into gaming you are. I'm sorry, but yes, it is an indication. It's not a fact or complete fact, but it is an indication. Also, players love indie games. Expedition 33, Silksong, they all were amazing. Megabong, they were all successes. I'm sure they're not multiplayer games, but to say the least, they were the same as Wildlight. They had outsourcing publishers. Sure, they weren't publishing themselves, but they did what they could with what they had, and they were a success. They didn't need to pay high-profile players to content creators to play their game and advertise it. No, they didn't have to pay reviewers to do so. No, they relied on their game being good, and that's it. That's it. Even if Highguard had a rocky launch, our independent, self-published, dev-led studio full of passionate people just trying to make fun game with zero AI, yeah, of course he has to talk about the AI, because yeah, why not? And zero corporate oversight deserve better than this. No. No. You don't deserve better treatment because you're an independent, self-published, dev-led studio. You don't deserve better than this. Because you, first of all, you outsourced, I think, 3/4 of your end product. There is nothing original about your game. It very clearly didn't put any thought process into your game, or try to do anything out of the ordinary, and you still want to be treated as a top studio. I'm sorry, but no, You just failed, and the only thing that maximized the hate towards you is that you took a spot at the gaming awards, the best spot ever, and honestly that shouldn't have happened. We deserve the bare minimum of not having our downfall be gleefully manifested. And the only reason it is because there's a lot of people that's saying that we are wrong. Hell, you are saying that we were wrong as gamers. Then, yes, people are gonna gloat. It's not a good thing. No, trust me. I don't want to gloat. I am not gloating. And when I made a video about talking about the game, I didn't gloat. The only reason that gloating is happening is because you are going out of your way to dismiss the criticism of these players and say that, hey, no, you're wrong, my game is the best, when it's obviously not. I don't know, man. I wish the best of luck to the few who remain at White Light and hope Highguard can stay the course. I still believe in it, and so do the fans we reached who continue to champion it on subreddit, Discord, Twitch, and social media. I thought you were against the platforms. And even though this adventure has come to an abrupt and emotionally challenging close, I don't regret one second of it. Also, I just want to shout out some incredibly supportive journalists and content creators who genuinely made night and day difference in enduring the past 2 months. All of these folks deserve far more credit than they get their empathy, intuition, and integrity. I'm sorry, but to all these people you're wishing good luck to, if this is the game that they're championing and they're advocating, then I don't trust yours or their opinion on video games, because it is painfully obvious that their standard is subpar and they don't get the respect that you think that you deserve. The image below is whatever. Okay, so Josh, man, you shouldn't talk about video games. You should stick to what you know as a technical artist and just stick to your lane. Okay, in this article you have not acknowledged any wrongdoing that your company did, any shortcomings that the team did, any shortcoming that the game did, and you have not acknowledged any of the valid criticism that the game had. The only thing you acknowledged here is that the gamers hate the game, and that you're a victim of this hate, and that it's all the sole fault of this game being badly received is because the gamer wants it to be badly received. No. Listen, man, you're not the only free-to-play game that has been released this year or other years. There are millions of them being released on a day-to-day basis, but you never see them. And they all fail because, yeah, a lot of people copy-paste different aspects of other games to try to make a game and make big bucks out of it. But that's not the case. The thing is that you don't see these games. The only difference from your game and these other games is that it had a huge spotlight. The Game Awards last spot, the most popular spot, and your game wasn't up to par to it, and a lot of people saw that. Your game looks like one in a million. There was no originality to it. There's nothing that sets it apart than other shooter games out there. Look at Deadlock, for example. Deadlock is a work in progress. And you know what's the difference between Deadlock and your game? Which they're not both shooters. Deadlock is more of a MOBA, but we're talking about a free-to-play game that's everyone playing it. Deadlock 1 is in a continuous sort of development right now. It's still an alpha. 2, it's relying on player feedback, which you didn't. I don't understand why these studios do not get it. You need player feedback. You need it. You don't have to have, but you need it for your game to be as good as you want it to be. You can't rely on content creators that you fly out, you pay for their hotel, for their food, for everything, and you expect them to give you an honest and solid review about your game. They're not gonna do that. There's no person on earth that would do that. You know why? Because once you invite the content creator to these kind of things, they want to be invited back. And they know if they say one single bad thing about your game, they're not gonna be invited back. They know it, so they don't do it. Don't rely on them. They are the epitome of unreliable. And I am so sick and tired of this positive toxicity that we see on social media regarding these kind of products. The game was objectively bad. You had almost 100,000 players playing your game on launch. 100,000 players for the free-to-play games. That is a okay number because it's free to play, but it's still a good number. And it went from 97,000 to 9,000. It has to be something other than the content creator talking negative about your game. There has to be a problem. Because trust me, if the game was good, you wouldn't have suffered like that. Trust me on this. And we really have to stop this positive toxicity thing that's going on. Saying the game is once in a lifetime, it's the best game I've ever played. Based on what? Based on what? If this is the best game you've ever played in your entire life and you are having a blast in it, I'm sorry, but your taste and standard in video games is not something to be respected. Everyone has their own opinion. Everything is subjective here. But things being subjective doesn't mean it should be respected. If I like an art of a dog shit, doesn't mean that this art is good. It means that my taste is that. That's the standard of my taste. Also, developers need to stop going to social media and trash the players that play their games. It has to stop. You're not a community manager. You do not have any experience in this. You may be one of the best developers in the world and you still wouldn't be able to handle the online criticism. You're a human being. You can't be good at everything. And stop going to social media. It's astonishing to me that the one time you go to social media is to read about your own game. Why didn't you read what happened to Concord? Why didn't you read what happened to Marathon? It's the same thing. It's a pattern, man. It's the same pattern over and over and over again. And these people don't want to learn. They don't want to learn. Everyone thinks that, oh, that happened to them, it wouldn't happen to me. It would definitely happen to you if you did the same thing. Also, as a person that posts online, such as myself, if a video does poorly, if I get 80, 100 viewers on a video that I personally would think that I worked hard on, I would never go online or make a video saying, oh, it's all the viewers' fault. They don't understand my art of creating videos that I'm getting 80 views. No, the video sucked. It is what it is. Sometimes I spend 2 to 3 days preparing for a video and it barely gets 50 viewers. I learned from it. I go, oh, maybe I could have edited more here. I don't know, man. Or maybe I could have been more awake or done a little bit more research or cut out the dead air better. That's how we learn as human beings. This article is not you learning, Josh. It's you coping and deflecting and trying to get one last word in before you move on with whatever next project you're gonna work on. But there's one thing for sure. One thing me and a lot of other players are you can count on us doing. Whenever we're gonna see your name on a project, or whenever we're gonna see all these developers that deflected accountability names on a certain project, know that it's tainted now because you did this. That's why whenever something happened, don't announce it to the world, don't blame, don't shift anything, don't do anything. If this is what happened, say okay, let's hope a different other company or other project will be even better. Don't shout it to the world. No one wants you to, all right, let me know what you guys think about the whole toxic positivity thing that's happening in the gaming industry, and let's hope at some point it ends because we need better products, we need better games, and thankfully we're getting them in 2026. I catch you guys in the next one. Tell me what you think about the whole Highguard thing. What the Josh Sobel, do you agree with Josh Sobel or not? Was it the content creator's fault? Was the game actually good? I personally don't believe so, but yeah, I want to hear what you guys have to say. Ciao for now. Bye bye.